Imagine this scenario. In 2022 alone, the Malaysian government's projected fuel subsidy reached a mind-boggling RM28 billion. To put that into perspective, that is more than double the RM11 billion spent just a single year before. Or to keep petrol artificially cheap for everyone, regardless of whether they drive a basic compact car or a luxury supercar. Now, I get it. Paying less at the pump feels like a fantastic benefit to our wallets right now. But here is the hard and uncomfortable truth that RM28 billion is drawn directly from our national budget. Those are precious public funds that could otherwise be used to build your university facilities, upgrade our public healthcare systems, and drastically improve the public transportation networks that you and I rely on daily. After conducting extensive research on Malaysia's economic policies and reviewing comprehensive peer-reviewed data from energy and economic journals, I have seen the profound long-term damage our current subsidy framework inflicts on our nation's financial health. This is why I'm standing before you today to argue that Malaysia must urgently end the blanket RON 95 subsidy. This current system creates a severe national budget deficit, opens the floodgates for massive cross-border leakages, and severely paralyzes our transition toward renewable energy. Today, I want to take you through the journey of why this change is necessary. First, I will explain the financial cost these subsidies place on our overall economy. Second, I will discuss how our public funds are heavily drained by high-income earners and foreign smuggling leakages. And third, I will show you why removing this subsidy is required to achieve our green energy targets. First, I will be examining the financial toll that the current blanket subsidy system takes on Malaysia's overall economy. The plain reality is that the blanket fuel subsidy creates an unsustainable financial burden that severely limits Malaysia's economic efficiency and inflates our national budget deficit. According to advanced economic modeling by researchers Lee, Shi and Su 2017, published in the prestigious journal Energy Policy, subsidizing energy is highly unfavorable from an economic perspective and places a heavy, unnecessary strain on government expenditure. But their research also offers a beacon of hope. Their data indicates that completely removing petroleum and gas subsidies would significantly optimize our nation's economic efficiency, which could actually increase Malaysia's GDP by up to 0.65%. Furthermore, eliminating this blanket framework would immediately shrink our national budget deficit, freeing up vital capital that the government can use for targeted social development instead of quite literally burning our future away at the petrol pump. Second, beyond the overall economic cost, the way this subsidy is currently distributed also highly inefficient. The current blanket subsidy system suffers from severe systemic inefficiencies, a profound misallocation of funds, and rampant cross-border leakages. A study by Ismail 2024 in the ASM Science Journal highlighted that allowing all citizens unrestricted access to subsidized RON 95 is exactly what led to the crushing financial burden of RM 28 billion ringgit Malaysia in 2022. Think about how a blanket approach works. It means the subsidy is mostly consumed by high-income earners who drive larger gas guzzling or multiple vehicles, rather than assisting the lower income groups who actually face financial hardships. To make matters worse, this untargeted system breeds massive external leakages. Organized smuggling syndicates actively bypass current enforcement and IC verification methods by utilizing local proxies and heavily modified vehicles to hoard fuel. This fuel is then leaked to across borders or sold to foreign vehicles, meaning that we, as Malaysian taxpayers, are effectively paying out our own pockets to subsidize non-citizens. Third, while we lose billions of ringgit to inefficiencies and leakages, we are also actively sacrificing our environmental future. Keeping fossil fuel subsidies alive directly slows down Malaysia's critical transition to a green economy and makes it incredibly difficult for us to reach our national renewable energy targets. As researchers Yahoo 2024 explained in the Journal of Helion, Malaysia's goal of reaching a 31% renewable energy share in its power generation mix by 2025 is being heavily hindered by these ongoing fossil fuel subsidies. Their analysis clearly demonstrates that keeping fossil fuels artificially cheap removes the financial motivation for both public and private sectors to transition or invest in the green energy alternatives. When petrol is heavily subsidized, the public has very little financial incentive to utilize public transportation or switch to electric vehicles. Therefore, rationalizing and completely removing these fuel subsidies is an absolute prerequisite to expanding sustainable energy use, lowering our carbon emissions, and meeting our global climate commitments. In conclusion, the evidence clearly shows that the era of blanket RON 95 subsidy must end for the sake of our nation's future. Today, we have looked at how removing the fuel subsidy can repair our national budget deficit, halt the flagrant misallocation of funds and cross-border leakages, and provide the vital economic push needed to kickstart our renewable energy sector. Therefore, I urge all of you today to shift your mindset and actively support the government's shift toward targeted subsidy reforms. We must collectively demand that the billions of ringgit saved from the pumps be reinvested directly where it matters most, into expanding our public transportation networks, building robust green infrastructure, and delivering targeted cash aid directly to the P40 group who truly need the support. The route to economic reform will undoubtedly cause some short-term discomfort, but completely ending the RON 95 subsidy is the necessary fuel we must burn today to secure Malaysia's long-term economic and environmental survival. That's all from me. Thank you.